began to break down and cry, and she said, "Lee, do you want to know the truth? I haven't seen Kaylee in 31 days.
I would just wake up in the middle of the night and see that she was sweaty in bed. She was having a nightmare or something."
That's when she opened up to me and said, Mom has thrown it in my face many times before that I'm an unfit mother. And, you know, maybe she's right, maybe I am. She's like, well, maybe this should have been done a long time ago.
Did you cause any injury to your child, Kaylee?
No, sir.
Did you hurt Kaylee or leave her somewhere and you're worried that if we find that out that people are going to look at you the wrong way?
No, sir.
Casey was a totally different person when we were together. The person that I was with and the person that sits in that jail, I don't know her.
Casey has been a very wonderful, caring mother.
Do you know who the father of Kaylee?
I do not know with 100%.
Certify.
Tonight, has the biological father of little Kaylee finally been outed? And if so, what, if anything, will it mean at Top Mom's Murder One trial? Straight to Kathy Belich with WFTV. What can you tell me?
Well, yet another story from Casey, this time to a girlfriend of hers, that a hot co-worker of hers from Universal, and she had a one-night stand at a hotel near Universal Studios, and that she never gave a last name, but she said that this Josh fellow had a girlfriend, had a child, was planning to marry the girlfriend. Killed in a car crash, never knew Kaylee. It's a similar story that she's come up with before, but little different details.
To Drew Petrimo with WDBO, can it be confirmed that such a person even existed?
No, as a matter of fact, she told her friend that she didn't even know his last name. And, you know, just like this guy in North Carolina, these are kind of people that we've never been able to find. There's no record of them. Detectives have not been able to find anything. You know, we've seen thousands of pages of documents from detectives on this subject, and there's never been anything concrete on the father of Kaylee.
Let's unleash the lawyers. We're taking your calls live in New York. Child advocate Susan Moss in Seattle, high-profile lawyer Ann Bremner, and joining me from Miami, Florida, defense attorney, former Fed with the FBI, Hugo Rodriguez. Susan Moss, weigh in.
I'm just glad she's not claiming it's Zenaida Gonzalez. I mean, this is just a little too late. Yet another person who doesn't seem to exist. She worked with this man, yet she doesn't even know his last name. Just more lies.
Ann Bremner, if the biological father can be named and determined, what will it mean, if anything, at trial?
Very little, Nancy. I actually agree with Susan Moss. Isn't there a country and western song called that? I don't even know his last name. But, yeah, I don't know what you can bring in unless you go with the mental defense and some issue with respect to paternity.
You know, Hugo Rodriguez, you know, call me crazy, but I believe that the identity of the biological father could mean something very significant at trial, because they are going to be looking to blame Kaylee's murder on somebody, anybody. So the existence of the bio dad could be extremely significant. It could be someone for the defense to point the finger at. Get it?
In Florida, the defense eventually will have to give up a witness list, and/or will eventually have to give up some idea of where their defense will be. And that father will be identified one way or another. Now, how that will factor at trial, I can't tell you right now, but it will factor on both sides, because I'm sure that the authorities want to identify this person, if he exists, if he still lives, interview him, and exclude him as a possible suspect.
Absolutely.
The other side wants to do the opposite spin of that and possibly use that individual to insinuate that he could have perpetrated the crime.
And I believe that that is why the attorney stopped brother Lee Anthony from answering that question. Out to the lines, Joy in Connecticut. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Nancy. Happy spring to you and your beautiful family.
Well, thank you very much.
We all love you. Nancy, my big question is, has the father, George, been tested to see if he is possibly the father?
To Kathy Belich, that seems far-fetched to me. I have long stood by the story that I don't believe there is incest or familial relations going on. I don't buy it. But many people have suggested that a family member is the father. Have they been tested? I know Brother Lee Anthony has.
brother Lee Anthony has, but Casey's father George has not been tested. I don't think there's any indication for them to test him. He did give a DNA test, and so did Cindy, but I don't believe they tested him for paternity.
To Leonard Padilla, a bounty hunter who searched exhaustively for little Kelly. Leonard, two things. Number one, you have a deposition coming up. When, where, and what do you know about it? And number two, what is the progress regarding you purchasing that plot of land where Kelly's remains were discovered?
Originally, the deposition was scheduled for this month, but then the attorneys want to take the depositions of George and Cindy and their attorneys first, so they scheduled mine down the road 2 months for May 19th.
Who is it that wants to depose you?
The attorneys for Zenaida Gonzalez.
Okay, go ahead. And what about the plot of land?
I just today, this afternoon, just before I left the office, received a formal written contract for me to sign offering $50,000 for the property from the real estate agent representing the seller. She said the seller was out of town for a week or so she wouldn't be able to get back to me for, say, 10 days or so.
Leonard, you spent so much time with the family. What about this new story as to the biological father of little Kelly? This could be extremely significant at trial.
It can be, and I'm telling you it will be, but the only way that anybody's going to find out who the biological father is to go August the 5th of 2005, go back 9 months, and then go 30 days on each side on her phone records, and then eliminate one by one the males involved. And that's the only way you're going to find out, because she's not going to know.
You know what? John Lusich, former investigator, author of Cyber Lies, he's got a point. This woman is prolific on the cell phone and texting. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. And you may not even find it also, in addition to the cell phone bills, her computer and any other type of technology where people communicate on a regular basis. She's definitely going to be communicating with somebody intimate like that, and it will show up on the phone bills most likely.
To Dr. Janet Taylor, psychiatrist, why all the head games about the paternity of the little girl?
You know, it's just one more tangled weave. It just points to her inconsistencies, her ability to make up things, and also just this conflict and lies that she tells.
Also, we learned the private eyes working for the Anthony family on the hot seat. They are expected to give sworn testimony regarding why they were digging around in the area where little Kelly's remains were found weeks before police found the remains. Why were they there? Were they tipped off? Straight to Kathy Bellich, WFTV. What can you tell me about those depositions?
Well, they're scheduled for Wednesday. Both Private Eye Dominic Casey, who was under contract with the Anthony family, as well as with Casey, and also Jim Hoover, who was more or less a volunteer working with Dominic Casey. As you said, both of them were videotaping the scene where Kaylee was found a month before she was found. Also, a home near where the Anthonys live, near the scene, owned by a Gonzalez family. They will be answering questions about what they were doing there, what they knew, how they knew it, and I'm sure they'll be asking questions about whether they ever heard about a Zenaida Gonzalez when they were spending so much time with the Anthony family.
Back to Leonard Padilla, bounty hunter, expected to testify in the civil suit. Leonard, on video, the private eyes are in the very spot where little Kelly's remains are found many weeks later by police. Let's see the video, Liz. Now they're going to be deposed under oath as to why they were there. What do you know?
Well, Hoover told me that morning, Casey called him up and says, we're going to go get Kaylee. She's not alive. She's dead. But if you follow Hoover's thinking and the filming and the measurements of that particular area, they were off by the same amount of feet that Kronk was off. Now, Kronk, about a week or 10 days prior to Thanksgiving, was bragging that he knew where the body was and his girlfriend had told him where it was.
Out to the lines, Lynn in West Virginia. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Hi, and Lynn, right now we're showing you that video of the private eye sifting through the dirt, digging near this area where little Kelly was found. That's from WFTV. It's the Anthony's PI frantically searching. Back to you, Lynn. What's your question?
Yes, mine is more of a comment on this biological father thing. If it's no one in her family, and if the biological father is deceased or passed on, it seems like his parents or if he had siblings, that they would want to know that they had a deceased granddaughter or niece out there.
To Dr. Zonshay Waugh, Union County, New Jersey medical examiner. Doctor, if police don't have any idea who to compare Keely's DNA to, we may never know who the father is.
Yes, I mean, we'll never know. You have to have a DNA for comparison first.
Like a castle built upon a sandy beach, gone too soon. One night, like the loss of sunlight